السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Excuse me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. First and foremost, I want to say welcome. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Adam Musaddaq, and today I'll be serving you guys as your MC, your moderator for tonight. On behalf of the Islamic Center of South Bay, I'd like to say thank you for joining us tonight. To begin our program, I'd like to invite Bilal, a student from our Al-Nur Quran Academy, to recite the verses of the Holy Quran, and his sister, Hiba Billush, who is also a student of the Al-Nur Quran Academy and the Weekend School, to translate these verses. Please give them a round of applause.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا السماء انفطرت وإذا الكواكب انتثرت وإذا البحار فجرت وإذا القبور بعثرت علمت نفس ما قدمت وأخرت يا أيها الإنسان ما غرك بربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك في أي صورة ما شاء ركبك كلا بل تكذبون بالدين وإن عليكم لحافظين كراما كاتبين يعلمون ما تفعلون إن الأبرار لفي نعيم وإن الفجار لفي جحيم يصلونها يوم الدين وما هم عنها بغائبين وما أدراك ما يوم الدين ثم ما أدراك ما يوم الدين يوم لا تملك نفس لنفس شيئا والأمر يومئذ لله.
When the heaven is cleft, and when the stars fall off, and when the seas are flown away, and when the graves are scratched, each soul shall then know what it has sent forth and what has been left behind. O man, what has deceived you with regard to your Lord, the Noble One, who created you and perfected you, and then proportioned you into whatever he willed? He fashioned you. Nothing but you bellies the judgment, and undoubtedly above you are some guardians. Honorable scribes, they know what you do. Undoubtedly the righteous are in bliss, and undoubtedly the evildoers are necessarily in hell. They shall never enter in the day of judgment, and they will not be able to hide therefrom. And what you know what the day of judgment is. Again, what you know what the day of judgment is. The day when no soul shall have power for any other soul, and the entire command on that day is of Allah.
Please give them a round of applause for this beautiful recitation. So, among our audience today, we are grateful to welcome neighbors, colleagues, friends, public officials, faith leaders, and local law enforcement to celebrate the spirit of Ramadan and experience the iftar, the opening meal that we have when the sun goes down. We want to welcome the members of the Assemblyman Al-Muratashi office. Thank you for being here. Representatives from the Lomita Sheriff's Office, thank you as well for being here. City of Torrance council members, SM Sheikh, councilmen, we want to express our greatest gratitude to the City of Torrance for continuously providing us space for our community and our Eid prayers. Barry Waite, Planning Commissioner, City of Lomita, our home city, thank you for being here today for us. And our San Pedro neighbors for peace and justice. This group of people has been protesting for justice in Palestine for every Friday since October 7th. Thank you for your consistent solidarity. We also have with us today a number of new reverts from Islam, mashallah. We would like to welcome you all with open arms into our community. Thank you for being here today and all the many days that you will share with us together for the rest of our lifetimes. Additionally, we have many other friends and neighbors. We have been showing up year after year in solidarity with the Muslim community. Thank you so much, all of you that I've stated, for being here tonight. And without further delay, I invite Brother Ihtisham Mirza, the president of the Islamic Center of South Bay, a favorite of mine. Please come up and talk for us, please. Everybody, give him a round of applause.
Now that I have been told I'm his favorite, I'll take my time. Thanks for putting me at ease. Bismillah. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God Almighty, bring His mercy, His rahmah on all of us. I get a little distracted. Some people are coming in. Yes, Judy and Steve. For 40 years we have been together in the struggles. Give them a round of applause. There are many people in this hall and more are coming who have been shoulder to shoulder with us for many, many years, 40 years ago, since the inception of this center. And what you see around this majestic building is the result of their efforts. In Abrahamic religions, the value of human life is considered sacred and significant. The belief in the sanctity of human life is rooted, and every individual possesses inherent dignity and worth. Notice the word, every individual. It does not separate itself towards just Muslims or just Christians. Every individual, kullun nafs, everyone who takes a breath. Who takes a breath? The plants, the trees, the humans, the animals, without distinction of any creed or color or size or gender. We're all equal in our Creator's eyes. And He is the one who dictates what gets done, what doesn't get done, what should be done, what shouldn't be done. And He clearly says, Almighty, you're all equal in my eye, and your life is a gift that I've given you and has to be respected as such. If you don't, you'll be questioned, regardless who you are. As adherents of the faith community, we all emphasize the importance of preserving and protecting human life, promoting compassion, and pursuing justice for all. This is a clear statement separating the two columns, believers, non-believers. Abrahamic religion, Prophet Abraham. If we are part of him, I've been giving a note, I have a limit on time. I'm just warming up. I have a lot to say, but God willing. So distinction, two separations of believers. So we should be proudful that we are the believers. Are we or we not? The Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. So double responsibility on us as a result to respect the human life. Sanctity of human life is a fundamental principle upheld in the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Muslims believe that human life is a precious gift from Allah, the God Almighty, and that every individual has inherent worth and dignity. The Quran emphasizes the importance of justice, mercy, forgiveness, and caring for others, highlighting the value of human life and the responsibility to treat others with respect. How much time I got left, by the way? Is it fair? What do you guys think? Thank you. Wars are often regarded as the epitome of human folly due to their devastating consequences on individual societies and the planet as a whole. Maybe I should just go to the last paragraph then, if such is the case. The sad thing is, what is going on in the world, especially in Palestine and Gaza, is monumental, absolute disaster for everyone and anyone. And it deserves more time from me. So we have to adjust our clock. What is happening in Gaza is cruel and must be stopped. As members of faith community, let us show that we care about human life, and let us put demand and pressure on our political leaders to do what they can to stop the war on Gaza. I have cut my talk in 1/10. Thanks for your time.
Just go ahead and sit on the table first, please. And Dr. Dr. Jordan, and brother, could you please sit up at the front? Mm-hmm. Dr. Shaggy. Yeah, please sit with the esteemed guests, please. Thank you, Brother Mirza. Next, I would like to invite I'd like to invite Yulia Zaman, one of our dedicated volunteers, to share a short summary of the role of the Islamic Center of South Bay to her in this community. Give her a round of applause, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And good evening. My name is Ulayya Zaman. I am a member of and volunteer at the Islamic Center of South Bay, and I want to take a few minutes to share a little bit about the various programs and initiatives that we have here at ICSB and the different ways that we try to give back to our community. We have several committees which focus on different aspects and services that we provide to our community. These committees include the advisory, finance, religious services, religious education, communications, programs, and social services committees, as well as a few others. To provide a few specific examples of the different programs that are available to our larger community, we have monthly wellness fairs, we have food drives, feeding the homeless, counseling services, programs and events for seniors, youth programs, mental health programs, and many more. In addition to all of these services, ICSB provides support and a connecting place for young people and elderly people and everyone in between to come together to find community, to find positive role models. We strive to reinforce positive values and positive character within our community, and every day we are continuing to grow and provide more resources of support. We thank you for taking the time to join us this evening, and we hope to continue building a lasting connection with our community. Jazakallah khairan.
Jazakallah, sister. Well, while this Ramadan is full of community and joy and reflection, it also carries a heaviness as our brothers and sisters in Gaza continue to experience incessant bombing, indiscriminating killing, blockade, and starvation at the hands of the occupying forces of Israel. As we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month, our hearts and our prayers with our Palestinian brothers and sisters, to share tribute to Palestine, we invite Aisha Haroun, Lina Kahla, Hiba Khan, Laiba Khan, Noor Kahla, and Muhannad Kahla, students all of Al-Noor Islamic Weekend Schools and are all students of the Quran Academy. If I could please have you guys up. And again, a round of applause.
Good evening, respected community members. I welcome you tonight with a Muslim salutation of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, which means, may the peace and mercy and blessings of God be upon you. The very notion of peace is a fundamental principle of Islam. In fact, one of the meanings of the word Islam is peace. Therefore, a Muslim is one that lives a peaceful life in a manner that pleases God. This reality of what a Muslim actually is sometimes very different than the image depicted of us. But if any good has come out of the nightmare taking place in Gaza right now, it is that the people of Gaza and Palestine have shown the world the true meaning of Islam. They are showing the world that even after losing their family and their friends and their homes, they just want peace. They just want to try to make the best of what little's left of their lives. Being born and raised in the US, I've lived a relatively comfortable life, alhamdulillah, thank God. I've never had to worry about getting food or clothes or my safety or the safety of my family. Seeing the images of children my age and younger having to wait in long lines for morsels of food and water, shivering in the rain and cold with no jackets or shoes, burying their dead parents and siblings breaks my heart. But just empathizing and grieving with them without any action will not change their situation. I'm just 11 years old, but I'm doing whatever I can to help my brothers and sisters in Gaza. I've been talking to my friends at school and educating them that about the history of Palestine and informing them that all of this didn't start on October 7th. It started in 1948 when more than 700,000 Palestinians were expelled from their homes. I've also been boycotting brands that are supporting and funding the genocide. And last but not least, I have been making lots of prayer to God for peace for my brothers and sisters and a permanent end to their pain and suffering. And since we are all brothers and sisters in humanity, I encourage you all as well to do whatever is within your means to bring peace to Palestine. Thank you all for your time and enjoy the rest of your evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. My name is Lina Kahla. I am 13 years old and I am a Palestinian American. Alhamdulillah, I have had the privilege of living a peaceful and comfortable life in this great country where I'm also allowed freedom of speech and the freedom to practice my faith. Unfortunately, not everyone in this world is fortunate as me. My childhood is filled with laughter, joy, friends, families, toys, and etc. However, my families back home in Palestine don't have such luxuries. Every summer, my family and I travel to Palestine, but let me tell you, it's not like how you would travel to other countries. First, we would have to take a flight to Jordan and drive to the borders near Palestine. Then we would have to take a bus and cross the borders, with so many interrogation as to why we are there. This is because there is no direct airport in Palestine for people with Palestinian passports. Even though I love seeing family and friends in Palestine and having memories with them, it's also very traumatizing just to enter my own country. The fear Palestinians have to live through day to day with so many checkpoints surrounding the area, with IDF soldiers pointing guns at you while passing by not knowing any second they could pull the trigger because they felt like it. The fear of losing loved ones anytime for no valid reason, limiting water, food, and electricity supplies, again, for no valid reason. Most areas are restricted for Palestinian people, and one of them is Jerusalem, the holiest land of our faith. My family dreams of visiting Dome of the Rock one day, but sadly, we can't. Especially with this timing right now in Gaza, after 163 days of genocide, the death toll is approaching 45,000. 13,000 of them are children. Children like me and my siblings. What is going on in this world? Why are we just watching innocent children like me being killed daily? Don't we have a voice, especially in this great country like America? Please look deep into your conscience and ask, why are we allowing this? We as Americans should stop funding the genocide. Ceasefire now. All lives matter and everyone deserves a life in this world.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hiba Khan and I am 10 years old.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. My name is Laiba Khan and I am 11 years old.
Now imagine families being torn apart, siblings being separated, and kids younger than the age of 10 having to raise their own siblings. No shelter, no medicine, no people to care for them, fearing to die at any moment. These kids can either receive the little food they can get from the sky or bombs dropping on their heads. This has become such a big war. For what? A piece of land that rightfully belongs to Palestine? And we are sitting here in luxury, not even thinking about the severe torture kids my age are going through.
Hiba is right. Hearing this makes me so sad. Imagine me, being separated from my family, having to raise my sisters. Life for me would be difficult, having to care not only for my life, but also for my sister's life. Losing the few close companions I have left, I would be torn, not knowing whether the person walking into my small cave in the rubble was a friend or someone here to deliver pain to my sisters. These kids have lost their parents, their food, shelter, toys, everything. We are always so particular, wanting everything for ourselves. Even if these kids get a part of food, they will be jumping with joy and thanks. This really puts into perspective how ungrateful we are. If one thing does not go our way, we throw a fit. But look at these Palestinian children. They still remain positive with firm faith, even in these dire situations. As for me, not only would I be sad, but I would also be heartbroken to lose my parents, my house, my steady food. I do not even know if I could make it through that struggle, but these people can, and they do, every single moment.
I totally agree. We should not be making their situation more difficult, but rather cease fire and help them. Put yourself in their shoes for a second. Imagine seeing your parents ruthlessly slain on the floor, the murderers coming towards you and your siblings frozen in fear. This is what the people of Gaza are going through each and every moment of their lives as we speak.
Do their lives not matter as much as ours? Do they not deserve everything we have? Do they at least not deserve the comfort of being able to sit without fearing being blown up at any second? What are we doing? This is not right. But we can change this. If we take a stand, we can encourage others to as well.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Noor Kahla. I'm 6 years old. Save all children like me in Palestine, and please cease fire now.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamza. Please save all people, children in Gaza like me, and please cease fire now.
Jazakallah, thank you, brave students, for talking to us about a very important subject. These Al Noor Islamic Weekend School students, they're sharing what is all shared in our hearts for the people of Palestine. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, to end the genocide and to give the Palestinians freedom and the liberation that they deserve, inshallah. Amin. We are privileged to have our keynote speaker today, Ustada Lubna Yusuf Mullah. Ustada is an honorary title. It means teacher or professor. Professor Lubna is a motivational speaker and community educator. She is a Tabiyya and Personal Development Manager at Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research. She's also a former, sorry, my mouth is so dry right now after a full day's worth of fasting. Oh, my days. I promise you, this is just a handicap. I'm usually better at speaking, I promise. She's also a former IOK Muslim chaplain at UCLA and a former National Tarbiyya Director of the Muslim American Society, where she is still an active member. Ustada Lubna is also the co-founder of the Muslim Marriage Rejuvenation Retreat. She has been working as a youth mentor for the past 2 decades in multiple capacities. She is a graduate of Chapman University with a Master's of Fine Arts in Screenwriting, and the creator of the YouTube channel Double Shot Mocha Productions, where she strives to promote social awareness through humor. Ustada Lubna was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and graduated from Cal State Northridge in business administration with a focus in accounting. She worked as an accountant for 10 years until she began her career as a mother. A career as a mother. It's more of a career. It's not a career. It's like a lifestyle. MashaAllah. She worked a career. That's funny. You don't get paid for it though, huh? She worked as an accountant for 10 years and began her career as a mother. Ustada Lubna moved into Egypt for 3 years with her husband, Sheikh Suhail Mullah, and her children, and they studied Arabic, Quranic recitation, and Islamic studies under direction of scholars from Al-Azhar. Am I butchering that? Al-Azhar. Okay, Al-Azhar. A premier Muslim university. Ustada Lubna currently resides in Los Angeles, California, with her husband and her 4 children. Yes, please take the stage. I have a whole bunch more nice stuff to say about her, but because we're in a crunch of time, I'm gonna just let her take it.
I like that. It's a lifestyle. Well, actually, I do get paid. As a mother, the reward is with God. That's what we say. So, okay. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, I am so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you for joining us from the interfaith community. It really means a lot to be able to break bread with us today and to join us in this holiest month of the holiest month of the year for us, the holy month of Ramadan. I was asked to share some facts about what Muslims believe. It's much better to hear it from us than for those who wish to spread not only misinformation but disinformation. And I'm sure many of you know a lot about Islam and some of you may not. So please, I hope you don't mind. So what do Muslims believe? First, there are 5 pillars of Islam. The first one is that a Muslim bears witness to the testimony of faith. And that is that they believe that there is no God but one God. The same God of Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Abraham, peace and blessings be upon all of them. And as a matter of fact, as we mentioned Jesus, first for example, that a Muslim cannot claim to be a Muslim if they don't believe in Jesus. We do believe in Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, as a prophet. But if we don't believe in him, one cannot consider themselves to be a Muslim. So the testimony of faith, the first pillar of Islam, is not only that you believe in one God and none other than God, that he has no partners, but also that as we believe in all of the messengers and the prophets that I have just mentioned, and many, many more, that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was the final messenger. So with that final messenger being the final iteration of his message of how people should live on this earth. We believe in all the books and all the messages that were sent with all of the other prophets. For example, the Psalms, Old Testament, New Testament, and the final revelation being Quran. It is in this holy month that the Quran was revealed, and Muslims believe that it is the word for word, verbatim message of God that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in this holy month of Ramadan through the archangel Gabriel. And it's amazing that if you were to look, there are no versions of Quran. All Quran, English translations may vary a little bit here and there in the meanings that people translate the Arabic, but you will never find a different version of Arabic. People who are in Malaysia study Arabic Quran, people in Mexico study Arabic Quran, people in China study Arabic Quran, all over the world. You will find translations, of course, in many different languages, not only in English. So it's the testimony of faith, and then we believe the second pillar of faith is that we must pray. And you're going to witness one of our prayers today, and the 5 prayers that we perform, one is pre-dawn, or at dawn time, one is in the noontime, one is in the late afternoon, and then we have the evening prayer, which happens at sunset, and finally the night prayer. And it's really a time for Muslims to not only connect with their Lord, and also to kind of regain their mindfulness, to stop what they're doing. So for those people who are out in the workforce, they're stopping what they're doing at midday. They're stopping at 3 o'clock, in the afternoon, and they're taking a moment to remember God, to kind of leave all the worries, leave all the hustle and bustle, the materialism, all the worries and the fast pace that we live, the rat race that we live, and just to kind of center, be thankful for what we have, and to connect with our Creator. It's very centering, very beautiful. And then the third pillar in Islam is paying charity, the charity tax, the alms tax, which is zakat. And what's beautiful about it, it's 2.5% as a mandatory once a year. Many Muslims like to pay it in Ramadan because during the month of Ramadan there's infinite or increased rewards. But what's beautiful about this charity that is given once a year mandatory, and of course it is wonderful to be given throughout the year as well, the word zakat, in it comes the root word of purification. It's a purification for you and your property. When you pay from what you have, you're purifying it. So when you share with others, and what's amazing that charity is not only for Muslims, it's for those who are unhoused, it's for those who are needy, it's for people to have education, for people to have health care. It's for everyone. So that is the third pillar of Islam that we believe we must give charity. There's the mandatory 2.5% over what is extra for Muslims every year, and then in addition throughout the year as well, it is not mandatory, but it is recommended. And then there's this holy month of Ramadan in which we fast. And this is a requirement for everyone who is healthy, past the age of puberty, is physically able for them to fast every day, 29 or 30 days, depending on the length of the month, because it's a lunar calendar, to fast from dawn to sunset. From dawn to sunset. Of course, any meals can be had pre-dawn, and meals can be had, of course, at sunset, abstaining from not only water, food, smoking, shouldn't really do it anyway, but just in case, and even intimacy. So for the most part, things that are good, but not allowed during this time. And it's really an amazing act of obedience to God, and it is also an amazing act of self-control. And what's one of the amazing things, as the kids were mentioning, the people in Gaza, that self-control that Muslims practice throughout the year, this has been, of course, a heightened, that Muslims still fast. If there was food available, if there were water to be available, that still Muslims in Gaza would be withholding from that food and water, from that little food and water that they're not even sure that they're going to have, so that they could observe the fast if they can, of course. So that's that self-control. And finally, it's the once in a lifetime, again, if somebody's financially able and physically able to make the pilgrimage to of Hajj, that's in Arabic, which is the pilgrimage to the Kaaba. It is the first place, home of God, a place of worship that is believed to be first created by Adam, and then, of course, over the years, rebuilt by Abraham, and rebuilt over the years, and it was destroyed by storms and whatnot. That is once in a lifetime. Now, going back to this month of Ramadan, there's so many amazing lessons that we can extract from it, and I do, one of the things that I currently do is I work for a wonderful Islamic organization called Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research. And one of the reasons this organization was created 7 years ago was to really combat Islamophobia. Combat not only the misinformation, but the disinformation, the intentional spreading of misinformation about Islam and Muslims. So I really recommend all of you, if any of you want to share information about Ramadan with your coworkers, with your family members, with yourselves, I invite you. Google has been so generous that they donated Ramadan.day to us so that we can explain what Ramadan is. Nobody can explain it for us and say something wrong, but we can explain it. So if any of you are interested, go to RAMADAN.day and you'll find a wonderful explanation about what Ramadan is. Same thing at the end of the month. A culmination of Ramadan is a massive celebration called Eid, E-I-D, and that is a celebration where, of course, now it's the end of Ramadan, no more fasting, families get together, communities get together, and pray and then break bread and enjoy. So if you're interested about that day as well, EID.day. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about in terms of some of the reflections one has during Ramadan, because we are fasting all day for what normally is good for us, food and water, you become more heightened in your thinking. You become more aware of those that are needy. And the beautiful children were mentioning the really in-your-face injustice that's happening in Gaza. And while our hearts are breaking when we break our fast, we know right now, we can smell the food, we know we're gonna break fast with food. We know it every single day. Thank God, it's a huge blessing. People in other parts of the world that are food insecure, and especially those in Gaza, they don't know that. And what's amazing about being more aware of those that are needy, that it's not only about Muslims, that Muslims are more aware of all of those that are in need, and like I mentioned before, not only can your alms tax go to Muslims and people of other faith, but same with charity throughout the year. So we become more aware of the unhoused, those who don't have insurance, those who are struggling in the justice system, so on and so forth. So locally and of course around the world, especially those right now, of course, top of mind for Muslims are those in Gaza. When we talk about disinformation, one of the things that people like to scare others about Islam is Sharia. That Muslims want to come to America, establish Sharia law, and scare the out of everyone. As if to say, we had invited all of you here, we're going to close the doors, and surprise, we're going to force Sharia law upon all of you, right? What's so amazing, Sharia is literally Islamic legislation. Part of that is how I dress. Part of that is how I pray. When I pray, how do I make wudu? How do I make the ablution? I need to use clean water. I need to face and I need to make it in certain steps. I need to wash my hands, my face, so on and so forth. I need to face the Qibla, the direction of prayer, which is Kaaba. By the way, we don't worship the Kaaba, but it is a house of God. It is another house of God, a symbol. So on and so forth. That's all part of Sharia. So is giving zakat, so is giving charity, so is fasting. All of that is part of Sharia. One interesting maxim, one interesting legal maxim of Sharia is do no harm. Do no harm. Do no harm to people, do no harm to plants, do no harm to animals, do no harm to the planet, so on and so forth. And that really is like an exemplification of the concept of justice in Islam. And again, when we talk about justice, it's not for Muslims, that we only care about justice for ourselves, that we care about justice for everyone. And I wanted to share a few verses from the Quran to highlight this concept of justice. This is from the chapter called the spread, the table spread, and this is referring to the dinner of Prophet Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, Al-Ma'idah, surah number 5, chapter number 5, verse number 8. O believers, O believers, stand firm for God and bear true testimony. Do not let the hatred of a people lead you to injustice. Be just. Again, the commandment, be just. That is closer to righteousness. And be mindful of God. Surely God is all aware of what you do. People who truly claim to be believers, to be followers of Islam, they must abide by this concept of justice. It is not for a particular family, for a particular race, for a particular ethnicity, for a particular religion, for a particular legal status, so on and so forth. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. And to even prove some of that, another beautiful verse, O believers, stand firm for justice as witnesses for God, even if it is against yourselves, your parents, or close relatives, be they rich or poor. God is best to ensure their interests. So do not let your desires cause you to deviate from justice. If you distort the testimony or refuse to give it, then know that God is certainly all aware of what you do. So this concept of justice, as you can see, is so important in Islam. And so when the kids here are telling you about Gaza, it's not political. For us, it's not political. It's standing up for justice. Despite, by the way, people not being happy with talking about reality and talking about the injustices that are happening all over the world, particularly in Gaza. When people are oppressed, unfortunately, when we start talking about it, it becomes political. And people now are afraid to speak the truth because they're going to lose their job, because they're going to lose their social media account. And it's happening. It's happening to not only Muslims, but to people of other faiths as well. So, you know, this concept of justice is not only so important as a reminder to all of us, that it's something important that we must uphold. It's also important for the world to know that Muslims, as the children said, that they're peace-loving, that they want to uphold justice, and the whole idea of being a true believer is wanting good not only for yourselves, but for your community as well. You know, what's very interesting is that Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, before the revelation came to him, before he became a prophet, he was even his society in the desert in Arabia, there were so many ignorant practices that those people practiced when it came against women, against even daughters, disrespecting them, not believing that they were valuable, worrying that they were going to actually take away from their wealth. That Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and his community at that time believed so much in upholding justice, despite some of the unjust cultural practices that Islam came to eradicate. One of them was called Hilf al-Fudul, which was the League of the Virtuous. And it was basically, that was very tribal society. So basically, if somebody from your tribe came and messed with somebody from my tribe, and my tribe was more powerful, I'd be able to kind of crush you or maybe oppress you or what have you. So it was very tribal society. But this League of the Virtuous, they wanted to uphold justice so that anybody who was downtrodden, anybody that was poor, who did not belong to a clan, who was downtrodden, who did not have that clout in society, if something was done wrong to them, that this group of individuals, of which Prophet Muhammad at that time was not a prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that he believed in and worked towards and upheld, was part of that league. And he said that if this league were around today after the advent of Islam, after the revelation came to him, that he would still engage in such an act. So, dear community members, dear brothers and sisters, I again thank you so much for joining us today, for listening to all of the wonderful presenters, the children that have come to talk to you from the school, to myself to learn a little bit about Islam, some resources as well. I also invite you, if you have any questions about Islam, what do Muslims believe? What do they believe about war, for example? You know, I'll just speak for a couple more minutes. I know that we're getting ready. There's a wonderful article on yaqeeninstitute.org. It's Y-A-Q, there's no vowel after it, Y-A-Q, no U I should say, E-E-N, Yaqeen, Institute. Yaqeen means clarity, so bringing clarity. Institute.org. You will find wonderful articles. In one of them, it talks about the rules of war. And even in the rules of war, there is justice. You cannot kill animals. You cannot kill women. You cannot kill children, the elderly, those that are not in combat. You cannot cut down trees that have fruit. You cannot burn the land. You cannot destroy it. And so when we think about justice, we think about justice not only in good times, but also in difficult times. And we pray for this justice to prevail all over the world. Particularly at this moment, the people are screaming at the top of their lungs so that we can hear them to bring peace and justice to Palestine. Amen. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless all of you.
All right, so I am certainly not going to hold you guys up. All right, I know you guys have all been fasting all day today. I'm not going to talk for very long, but one thing that I did fail to do, I failed to give a quantitative amount of recognition to law enforcement of Torrance and Lomita. I want to say a big thank you to them because, please. Because during these times of Islamophobia, it is very, very dangerous and almost even fatal to be around and to just be the people that we are. And so because of law enforcement, we're able to be safe. They're able to protect us during our events. So very, very big thank you. Again, round of applause. Thank you. So I was told to say something very, very, very fast. If am I taking up time? Okay, I'm not going to take up too much time. But my professor told me that what makes you a very likable person is if you are able to be good at storytelling. So I'm going to talk about my day. Not my day, but very fast. So I woke up today for suhoor, and I had a very big, hearty protein shake. And it's not like any other protein shake that I would make. I like triple, quadruple scooped it. And it was not very good for me because later that morning I had a physiology test. And this teacher is very relentless, Ramadan or not. She's very relentless. We had an exam on Monday, and now we have an exam Wednesday, straight off the bat. And I was just absolutely drained. And during the exam, my stomach, I kid you not, my stomach goes grrrr, out loud in front of the whole class. Everybody is looking at Adam Musaddiq, and my face is red and sweating. And best believe, I finished the test, but I was struggling because I didn't know any of the answers. So I was thinking to myself, what if I cheat? What if I take out my phone and I go on ChatGPT and I cheat to get the right answers, right? But no, Ramadan is the month of integrity, and it is the month of well, I was gonna say something else, I forgot, but integrity. I'm so starving, dude. Yeah, God consciousness as well. Yeah, integrity. I was thinking to myself, what if Allah sees me going on ChatGPT? What is he going to do? So I finished the test. We graded it in the classroom. Turns out I got an F. I didn't get an A. I got an F. But the point is that I did the right thing. I didn't cheat. And so Ramadan is all about integrity and sacrifices. Sacrificing not eating food, sacrificing, I didn't sacrifice much. I just had an upset stomach during the exam. But Ramadan is a beautiful month, and I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm going to let you guys eat your food if it's time for food. Don't eat yet. But triple, quadruple, thank you to the sheriff's office. Thank you to the law enforcement offices. Anyways, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome. And thank you so much, Libna. Thank you so much, Ustad and Libna, for your talk. It's always, I gave her some instructions. I'm like, okay, so you have to talk about Islam and Ramadan and Palestine and you have 20 minutes. And it didn't even end up being 20 minutes because we were running a little late. But she did it, mashallah. So thank you so much. So on behalf of the Community Outreach Committee here at ICSB, wanted to really thank everyone for coming out. We really look forward to this gathering every year because it's a time for us to share ourselves with all of you, and that's a very special thing for us to be able to do. So thank you for coming. And we'd like to invite one of our imams here, one of our scholars and reciters to come lead us in a prayer before we eat. We will be eating at around 7:05. You'll be hearing the prayer, the call for prayer. When we hear the call for prayer, you're welcome. The tradition is to break fast with a date and fruit and water. So that's what you you see in front of you. The rest of it is kind of dinner coming. And then after you break fast, you can head over to the prayer areas upstairs. So men are on the ground floor, women are on the second floor. You're welcome to join us for prayer, or you can take a tour of the center if you would like. We're so welcome. We're so grateful to have you all with us today. And then after prayer, we come back down for dinner. And dinner is a box dinner, so I know you're all busy people. If you have to rush, you're welcome to grab dinner and go. But we'd love to also spend time with you and share this meal with you if you're able to stay with us. So here is Sheikh Khalid to lead us in a prayer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You welcome everyone to Islamic Center of South Bay. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الأولين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين. Say Amin. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم يا رب اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما، واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما، ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا حوضنا شقيا ولا محروما يا رب العالمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل الخير يا رب العالمين، إنك أنت ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. يا رب اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا يا رب العالمين. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث يا الله. اللهم أغثنا يا الله. اللهم أغث أمة الإسلام يا رب العالمين، إنك ولي ذلك والقادر عليه. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أذان والتايم دقيقتين. معلش دقيقة.
So this is our little break. We've got only a few more minutes until we break fast, all right? 1 minute, all right, 59 seconds, all right? Can I just say whatever I want? Okay. So right now is the time for me to just talk, kind of just filler. I guess I can talk about the significance of Ramadan and why we do it. So the significance of Ramadan is obviously, of course, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to do it, but there also comes benefits from within us ourselves. With Ramadan, we're able to not only strengthen our iman, but it also teaches us a very valuable lesson. It teaches us the lesson of faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and why we should submit to Allah. I'm blanking, honestly. I really am blanking. You want to say something?
Tag team, right? Huh? So a couple of things that logistics forgot to mention. We do have a sign-up sheet. Sister Rayhana, where's the sign-up sheet? Okay, it's on your tables. Wonderful. So we would love to stay in contact. So if you do have questions or you'd like to come back to the center, you want to learn more about what we do here, anything like that, please feel free to write your names down and one of us from the Community Outreach Committee or our volunteers will get back to you. Did want to also mention we do have vegetarian options. If you do prefer a vegetarian option, we have a few, or we have some. So please, do let our volunteers know if you do prefer a vegetarian option. The main meal is going to be chicken, but we do have vegetarian. And it's time. Bismillah.
All right, you guys can all eat now. It's time to eat. Inshallah. Bismillah. Iqama salah. Iqama. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Iqama salah.
Bismillah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Sorry to startle you, sorry to speed you guys up, but start to wrap up. It's time for Maghrib prayer, so finish up whatever it is that you guys have in your mouths and on your plates. We're going to be getting going soon. Please, ladies and gentlemen, head upstairs. Are they doing the daycare thingy for the little kids? Okay, bring your kids, go pray. Yeah.